this video, we're going to take a quick look at some useful tips and tricks when doing surface modelling within SolidWorks. Splines are often the perfect sketch geometry to capture organic shapes. When editing splines, dragging the spline point or arrow tool can be awkward and it only gives a limited amount of control. Instead, right-click the spline and select Display Control Polygon. A sequence of draggable control nodes will appear, and these nodes give more precise control than dragging the spline points and arrows. Control polygons can be set to show by default from the sketch area within the system options. Projected curves take an existing sketch and projects it either onto a face or onto another sketch. The result can then be used for a variety of features, including the creation of surfaces. This first example shows an organic face and a 2D sketch. Projected curve can be used to project the 2D sketch onto the face. The end result is a curve that maintains not only the profile of the 2D sketch when viewed normal to, but the curvature of the face too. Sketches can either be open or closed. Sketch on sketch requires two sketches that are on different planes. When both sketches are selected, they are projected normal to their sketch plane, and the intersection of those projections is where this new curve is created. Trimming surfaces or using split lines does achieve similar results to projected curves. But with projected curves, no surfaces have to be altered as the curve does not break any faces. Organic consumer products tend to be thin-walled, and there are two common methods when creating thin-walled parts: shelling and thickening. To shell a part, it must be a solid body. A single or multiple faces can be selected to be removed, with the remaining faces having the thickness applied to them either internally or externally. When the shell command is used, the faces across the thickness maintain the same orientation as the face that has been removed. Therefore, if there are any angles or curvature on specific faces, the shell thickness isn't applied at 90 degrees on those faces. The process for using Thicken is slightly different. When using Thicken, a surface has to be selected. This surface is then thickened on either or both sides. The end result is almost identical to that of a shell, with the key difference being how the faces across the thickness are created. When thickened, the thickness faces are applied perpendicular to the original surface, maintaining 90 degrees. There isn't a wrong or right way to create a thin wall part. Both methods are useful, but it's beneficial to understand these two differences in order to make the right choice for the design. A great tip when surfacing is to make surfaces that are to be trimmed or that are being used to cut away from a solid larger than they need to be. Errors can easily occur in surfacing when there is a slight deviation in edge position between two adjacent faces, and this deviation results in faces being unable to be knitted or a cut failing. Making a surface larger than it needs to be ensures that there is sufficient overlap between faces at an edge and therefore reduces the chance of a failed trim, cut or knit feature. Making surfaces larger than they need to be can be achieved in a few ways. If the surface is built from sketches, the sketches can simply be made larger and therefore the resultant surface will also be larger. Or, if the surface already exists, using the untrim or extend command will increase the surface size without any modifications to the defining sketches. When working on a complex surface model, the same surfaces are often needed multiple times throughout the modelling process. When the original surface is trimmed, this can mean that faces or edges required later down the line are no longer available. Rather than recreating the same surface again later on in the model, copying surface bodies or copying faces is a better approach. The move copy command will copy the entire surface body and add it as a duplicate. To copy either one or multiple faces, the offset command can be used and the offset value is set to 0. This is useful when the entire surface body is not required. Great, that brings us to the end of this tips and tricks video. Hopefully you found it useful. Make sure to let us know if you have any ideas for other topics that we can cover in future videos. And remember to check out Cadasio.com to start bringing your SolidWorks files to life with interactive 3D presentations.